Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh alongside Paul Zeise for tonight's big show, and we're taking your phone calls tonight. 412-575-2600 is the number, and we're going to start with the NFL owners' meetings, even though there's a lot of hockey games going on tonight. The Blue Jackets won, also the Capitals won, so there's a lot of movement in the Eastern Conference postseason race. We'll get into that, but I want to start with the NFL owners meetings and a couple big rule changes, Paul. The biggest one is the pass interference can be reviewable now. It's a one-year test. I guess they're going to reevaluate it next year, but this would have impacted a few games. Namely, the biggest one would be the Saints, but also the one with the Steelers and the Saints. So it would have impacted the Saints two ways. Essentially, Joe Hayden, both of those plays probably would have gotten overturned if that rule was in place last year.
Well, the one, which was the second one, was it inside 2 minutes?
The second one was inside 2 minutes. The first one was at the beginning of the game.
It would have had to be challenged. I hate this. This is stupid.
The first one would have had to have been challenged.
It's all stupid.
The second one comes from the replay booth.
Look, here's the thing. Every single pass play you could challenge.
But you only have...
You only get two, but I'm saying inside the last 2 minutes, how are they going to determine? There's hand fighting that goes on every single play. There's contact on every single play when the ball's in the air. What are they going to determine?
Yeah, because not called, the pass interference that isn't called, the replay booth can call it.
And why are we stopping with pass interference? If we're trying to get it right, why don't everything be subject to review?
Well, the one thing that I would question would be the false start or the lining up off sides. Those plays should be reviewable too. But then there's holding on every play.
Well,
where does it end?
Same thing with pass interference.
You're right. Where does it end?
It's a judgment call. To me, you have officials you pay very well. They do a really pretty good job. I know people focus on one or two calls here or there in games, and they're key plays, but there's 130 plays in a game. You know what? The officials probably get it right 128, 129 times. So, okay, the Saints game, but you know what? I can point to a million other reasons why the Saints didn't go to the Super Bowl. And you know what? They still, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they missed the kick anyway, and the Rams still go. The bottom line is, this is a knee-jerk reaction based on one game.
Well, it impacted the Steelers, too.
That had nothing to do with it.
It was that one game.
If that Rams thing did not happen, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And my thing is, if it's really that important to get it right, why are we only reviewing it inside the last 2 minutes?
We're not reviewing it only inside.
No, you can challenge it. But what I'm saying, why is the referee challenge only inside the last 2 minutes of the half and the last 2 minutes of the game?
I didn't even think about it until I sat down here and talked with you about how every play in the last 2 minutes now can be reviewable. It's going to slow things down.
If it's a pass play.
Yeah, if it's a pass, they should take that away and just say, hey, you can only challenge it no matter what. So that forces a coach to be very pay attention to what he's challenging.
I would like it a lot better if they just said this. All scoring plays are going to be reviewed automatically. All scoring plays and all turnovers are going to be reviewed automatically, okay? And each coach gets 3 challenges. That's it. And there's no other reviews. So in the last 2 minutes, if something, we're not going to do this thing where we run over and look into you get 3 challenges. Use them however you're going to use them.
That's what I like. And I would even say you get 2 challenges a half or something like that. There should be a set number of challenges, and that's it.
And, if you win one, you don't get one back and all that stuff. No. 3 challenges.
But the challenges should encompass penalties, I do think, or pass interference.
Whatever you want to challenge.
Whatever you want to challenge.
Use it for 3 things. To me, if you think James Harrison got held on a play,
challenge it.
Challenge it. But that's one challenge. Now you only got 2 left. So my point is, this is a ridiculous way to do it, if you ask me, because now, seriously, if you look at the way that games are played, every pass play, you could almost say, boy, there was pass interference. Think about when you're sitting in the stands.
Yeah.
Or you're even sitting in the press box and there's a pass play. Unless the ball is egregiously overthrown or underthrown.
Yeah.
You hear people groan, oh, that's pass interference.
I think maybe the worst part about it is if it's not called, and then they can go look at it.
Yeah.
The last 2 minutes are going to take an eternity now.
Yeah, that is a really good concern. But here's the other thing. They've made it clear they don't want to legislate the game from the booth. They want the officials to, be the ones that basically determine what goes on the game and make the calls. So I have a hard time believing that it's going to be really easy for them to overturn, the great example I use is the first Hayden one in that Saints game.
Yeah.
All right. If you're looking at it and you're an official that's upstairs looking at it, right? He did have his hand on the receiver's back. So, okay, is that, Now it's a subjective thing. Well, did he push him a little bit or did he not push him? And then you know what's going to happen? They're not going to overturn something like that because they're going to say, well, the officials are on the field. We're not going to undermine them. And people are still going to lose their minds.
The second one, they would have seen the ball tip maybe.
Right. The second one's different. But my point is the first one, anyone like that is a judgment call.
All right, we got to take a break. Taking your phone calls coming up next, also your tweets. There's a lot to talk about. This is probably the big subject of the day, the pass interference. Also want to get into the celebration, celebrating. There's also that rule changes. We want to talk about that because that could impact the Steelers and it's going to impact some kickers. Give us a call, 412-575-2600 on the Bordas and Bordas hotline.
The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, celebrating 25 years as Pittsburgh's #1 home exterior expert in roofing, siding, windows, and gutters, where honesty and integrity still matter.